is not my typical Saturday. My Saturdays are normally filled with practice for the kids. I'm very happy to be here today, and I'm always keen on attending all the events that are organized by the law. I've said it before and I will say it again. I'm really inspired by the whole idea. I'm very glad that we have a venue to reach out to the younger generations and to students. It's very important to educate students with everything that we know, enabling them to become even better lawyers and better people in the community. So I'm very happy to be here today, and I love the Christmas vibes. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Since you've been a constant supporter for the law for years now, so what is your overall assessment of this legal community and your contribution as a legal practitioner and your role as a partner to the community?
I'm always, I mean, the knowledge that one has acquired throughout the years obviously is one of the things that I'm always keen again on sharing with younger generations, and this is a wonderful venue and a great opportunity to be doing so. The events that have been organized recently are extremely successful in my view. The number of students that are attending these events and are always keen on being present is really significant and not surprising. One would have loved to have an initiative or an idea such as the law back when I was a student. This was not something common at all. And it's a great opportunity to say I would love to see these events being organized more in the countryside, like in governorates such as Bani Suef, such as in Upper Egypt in general. I think that Cairo is, as much as it's obviously one of the very, it's the capital, it's an attractive place to hold all the events, and it's accessible. But I would also love to see universities within the different governorates getting the same opportunities of attending these events and getting the same education that is being afforded to the students in Cairo or in Alexandria, for instance. I know they could be invited and they could attend. It could be quite a hassle for them to, or at least a significant number of them to be traveling to Cairo or commuting to attend these events. I would love to see more marketing for these events in these areas, and also holding events in these areas so we can reach out to as many students as possible.
Definitely. Inshallah in the pub line.
Yes.
You've been practicing law for years now, so was there ever a moment when you were like, that's it for me, I'm not practicing law anymore?
Moments. There were moments. I think, I recall, and I think I used the law as a great space to tell my story. I think one of the first and very serious moments where I decided to just, I'm submitting my resignation, I'm not doing this anymore, when I knew that I was pregnant with my first son. All the thoughts that came through my head was, this is a very demanding job. I work a lot of hours, that's a fact of life. And I don't think at this moment, I believe I doubted myself. I thought, I'm barely doing it without having kids. How am I going to do it if I have kids? And at this moment, I decided I'm not doing this anymore. And I did actually speak to my boss at the time, who's my partner today, and said, I can't do this anymore. I'm pregnant. I'm going to have my first son. And I think, I don't know how to do things halfway through. So I'm just going to jump to the conclusion of I'm staying home. And if it wasn't for his support and if it wasn't for his encouragement, I don't think I would have reached where I am today. In so many other moments when there's the pressure of the job and having to juggle between family and work, you doubt yourself, and you always have the mom guilt, and then you always have the thoughts of not giving enough to work, and these moments pass. If you're doing what you love and you're able to do it with everything else that you love and try to balance it out, it's not impossible. It seems on the outside that it is so impossible, it's not doable. I cannot do this, or if I do it, I will have to be a bad mom, or I would have to be a wife who's not there, or I'm not going to be the best lawyer. I don't think this has any truth to it. If you're determined and if you really want to make it happen and make it work, you will be able to make it work at the end. So I think there were these moments where I doubted myself, and and there were people there to support me and tell me that I'm able and I can make it and I'm capable, and I'm very grateful for all those who supported me throughout this journey, and here I am today hoping to be an example to younger women and younger generations that you can make it.
I'm happy that you brought this up because this actually brings us to a very important topic, which is mental health awareness. So what advice would you give to your colleagues in the younger generations to balance?
My advice would be, you will meet a lot of people who will brag about staying late at work, who in normal conversations, I mean, whenever you ask them, how are you doing? I have a lot of work, I can't breathe, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and the fact of life, yes, we all have a lot of work and it's challenging like everything else in life. On the outside it looks, or people tend to make it much bigger than it really is. So I think the more efforts you put into work and the more determined you are, you have to also make time for yourself, and you have to work on the environment that you're working in. For example, if the firm where you're working does not adopt this behavior or does not follow this motto, then you have to be the one who starts this conversation and try to implement it firsthand. Speak up if you're overworked, if you're tired, if you're stressed, you have to speak up, because if you're doing everything that you can and you're putting in the effort, you have to be sure that there will be people who will appreciate you and who will accommodate you and who will listen to what you're saying. So I think my advice is you have to always find time for yourself so you don't burn out, and you have to take care of yourself and those around you so you would be able at the end to give the best that you have.
We've been seeing recently a lot of movies, TV shows, all around, like surrounding the legal professionals, lawyers, judges,
yes,
and all that. So, what do you think of the deception of the legal professionals in drama recently?
I don't believe. I mean, I believe it's a depiction of a certain a group of people within the legal field. I don't believe that there is a fair representation to all the diverse groups within this industry. It is very stereotyped, unfortunately. Maybe the Suits in Arabic recently have shown just a little bit, obviously on the exaggerated end, but some of it is somehow true. I wish that, I'm not sure how it was done when they were preparing for it, but I wish that for these TV shows and so on, that they would consult and meet with lawyers the same way they do with all the different characters, so that they would try as much as possible to depict as accurately as possible the legal industry and the people who work in it. And on the other hand, I mean, there is this exaggerated part, and there is the part that is, deceitful and the bad side of the group of people or of lawyers who are on the bad side. So I think it's just very stereotyped to me. I wish that they would make more research, speak to actual lawyers, so they would be able to portray or showcase a more accurate picture of how the legal field and lawyers are.
Do you think that there is more supply than demand in the legal industry?
Definitely there is, and I believe that the issue is a lot of people enroll themselves into law school because of, I mean, it's like any other field, because their parents are lawyers, or because very superficial reasons which I've heard. I want to be in a prestigious job, I want to make a lot of money. It's not because people really do appreciate the message of law, or that they love the idea of law, or that they know how to practice and have fallen in love with the idea of this job. So I think, and it's honestly, it's like every other industry or field. I mean, you will find a lot of people taking degrees from becoming doctors or becoming engineers, but at the end of the day, you would find them, they end up working in marketing or in business and so many other things. So I think it's just an issue that has to be dealt with at the very outset, at the very premature stage, which is exactly what the law is doing, is just speaking to students so that if someone doesn't see themselves in this job, doesn't see the message or the idea behind this job, then they would at a very early stage realize that and find what they believe they will be good at and what they are interested most in. So I think this is the reason why there is more supply than the demand.
How can this issue be resolved like in an earlier stage, like before getting even into law school? Is there ever a chance to do that?
Definitely enough education to people about the idea of where you want to end up, what you want to study and why. I think the same way we tackle the matter now with students who are already in law school, it is wonderful to visit schools. I mean, I've done a very short talk with 5-year-olds in a school about what a lawyer is and what do they do. It was very difficult, extremely difficult. I mean, 5 years, it's just really young. But at least once they reach an age where they're in high school, it's a very important age. Little guidance. In comparison to the past, it's a lot of guidance, but still little guidance. How to tell someone at this age what their future is going to look like, what it means to be to work this job or that job. So I think it always revolves around education. And maybe again, I know I stress on the fact always that I always expect so much more from the law because of how I believe in them. And I think that's also one of the things that could be done is organizing talks and workshops and those kinds of events within schools.
Again, thank you so much for your time and this
pleasure.
lovely interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Definitely.
And it's always lovely having you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.